All right, somebody is super psyched tonight. I'm going to see my mom in a week, and I'm not a frequent flyer. I'm not a big traveler, and I'm going to be an absolute basket case leaving Beatrice and Minerva and the chickens and all that. I don't leave home. I just don't. But I got to go see my mommy. Can't wait to see you, Mom. So what I do with these trips usually is I let the grocery thing kind of wind down. I'm only going away for 4 days, but I let the thing kind of wind down. I eat scraps, I get this, I do that, so that I don't have to leave with a full refrigerator. But then when I get back, I get off a plane, I got a 2+ hour drive home from the airport. It's not like I want to stop at a grocery store. So what I'm doing is I'm making something tonight that I can enjoy for the next couple of days before I leave, but also it's going to fill my freezer with some awesome goodies, so when I get home I can just pop them out, enjoy, and then get to the grocery store and start life as usual again. And this is something that I really love. Sorry for all my vegan friends, it's the Jamaican beef patty, okay? So once you do the recipe, I'll probably make like 10 or 12 of them. It's kind of like making tamales. And then they go in the freezer. You do one marathon prep session, cook session, you make them, and then you're happy for a while, okay? So, and this is another one, Jamaican beef patties, tamales. I could be accused of, what, cultural appropriation? I say just flip a few letters. How about cultural appreciation? Okay? I'm not buying that stuff from you people. You can make whatever you want to make in the food world. So let's go over to the board, see what we have. It consists of 2 parts. There's your pastry and then your meat filling. And we'll start obviously with the pastry because that wants to rest for a while, and then we'll move on to the meat. So let's go over to the board and see what we need for the pastry. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Here we go. Now I should have mentioned, I've mentioned before, I have never made these before. I just happen to love them. And there's a couple of guys in town where I work that have great ones. So I've always wanted to make my own. We'll see how good they come out. Practice makes yummy, right? So what I do with any of these things, I told you on another episode, whenever I'm making something that I've never made before, I kind of Google around, I get cookbooks out, and I look at a whole bunch of different ones, and then I kind of concoct my own, okay? Everybody uses something a little bit different. So I went through a few different recipes, and I picked from this one, picked from that one. Some use butter, some use shortening, some use butter and shortening, some use chili powder. They all use turmeric, so let's start there. One person used garam masala, and I happen to have some. Others use curry powder. All-purpose flour. Salt, this is my kosher salt box. Good old white sugar. Ice water. Little apple cider vinegar, not everybody uses that. And I'm going shortening and butter. Okay, I'm gonna do the mix because I want that flaky crust. All right, let's get started. Start with our all-purpose flour. Gonna go with 4 cups. And it's not like we're baking a loaf of, we're not making baguettes. So I'm not gonna get the scale out and go, to the exact gram and everything. When you're making bread, the weight is pretty key. This is a flaky crust. I think we can measure by cup. So 4 cups AP. I don't keep AP around a lot. I like my bread flour. I got it for this. I thought maybe the extra protein might play around with the flakiness. I don't know. I wasn't taking chances. They asked for AP, I got AP. To that I'll go with a couple tablespoons of sugar. Half a tablespoon of salt. I've seen all kinds of turmeric amounts. I've seen a half a teaspoon. I've seen 2 teaspoons. I like those yellow flaky patties. So I'm going with 2 good teaspoons of turmeric. I happen to love it as well. The flavor. As well as the color. And let me go with half a teaspoon of the garam masala. So there's our dry. Let's get that pulsed up just to mix everything together. Now we're at our butter, 5 ounces of butter. Let's go with an equal amount of our shortening. Tablespoon of our cider vinegar. And we're going to start pulsing this up while we add our cup of ice water. You can see it's starting to come together already. I'm pulsing because I don't want it to get hot. All right, let's bring this over to the marble. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Okay, our dough came together really nicely in that processor. It's got that beautiful yellow tinge. I tasted a little pinch of it. The sweetness from the sugar, the garam masala, the turmeric, it's going to be amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in two. Kind of roll them into tight little balls. I'm going to put them in this bowl, cover it up, and I'm going to throw these in the fridge for about a half hour while we make our filling. So back over to the board. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, the filling. Let's get this baby on the road. So obviously you can use ground beef. I bought this beautiful chuck roast, 2.5 pounds. I'm only going to use 1 pound of it, but it was on sale. It was much cheaper than the chopped beef, and I buy chopped meat every week for Beatrice. So I'm going to use 1 pound of this 2.5 pounds, put it through the grinder, and I'll pop the other one in the freezer, and just before I leave, I want to make up all her meals for when I'm away. So the folks that are taking care of her just have more prep. So 1 pound tonight, 2.5 pounds. Maybe I'll use 2 pounds to make her meals, and I'll use another ½ pound. Maybe I'll make a couple of burgers and pop them in the fridge. So, little quick tip. If you can get yourself a meat grinder, not only do you save money, but it's always better to grind your own beef. Onion, fresh thyme, paprika, garlic powder, allspice, curry, chili powder, more turmeric, some breadcrumbs, salt, some pepper, and I'm going with habanero. You know, traditionally from the islands you would use a Scotch bonnet pepper. They're not that easy to come by around here. Every now and then you see them in the market, but I'm going with habanero, closest thing to a Scotch bonnet. These things pack some major heat, but they got a brilliant flavor that you can't do without. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep everything up. I'll grind the beef. I won't bother you with that because you can go back to Come On in My Kitchen, the burger show, 005? I don't know. We made the homemade burgers, so there was a whole grinding thing on that. So I'll take care of everything, and then when we have the mixture together, we'll get our dough out and put these patties together. But before I go to the grinder, there's 2 key items I forgot because they were over there in a towel drying off. Fresh parsley and some green onion, scallions, okay? All right, let me get everything prepped and together. All right, I got my pot on the stove, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in there. Let's go in with the onion. And let's immediately start seasoning that up. A little garlic powder. Add our curry. Add our allspice. Paprika. This is the bourbon smoked paprika. Add a little Kentucky to our Jamaica. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go with our thyme. Let's Just going to pull off some leaves, kind of crush them up. You can use dried thyme. Some of the recipes that I looked up had dried thyme, but I have this thyme plant on the windowsill. Why not go fresh? Crack some pepper in there. Lower the heat. I don't want to burn my spices. I want to toast them. Pinch in a little salt to that. And let's go in with our freshly ground chuck roast. The fragrance is incredible. Let's add the breadcrumbs. Now we can add about a half a cup of water to this, and we're going to let this cook for about 10 minutes. So while this cooks, I'll go prep, and we'll see you back here. Okay, that's been simmering a good 10 minutes or so. I lowered the heat a little. And you know, every time I've bought a Jamaican patty and enjoyed the hell out of it, I always wondered about the texture of the filling. Like, how's ground beef? Seem kind of, it's the breadcrumbs. See, you'll learn. Gives it that almost pasty kind of tight consistency. I tasted it. I added a little salt, a little more curry. It's absolutely delicious. And now I'm going to go in with my green onion, my parsley, and 1/2 of that habanero. Now, why didn't I saute the habanero with my onions in the beginning? Because I want to enjoy these. I don't want to kill myself. You know, you take these super hot peppers. If you put them in at the very beginning, you're just going to infuse them into every molecule of liquid. So I'm just adding it now. Green onion, parsley. We got a habanero in there. Let's see what we got for our filling. It's hot. Oh man. Yo. Oh, the habanero, baby. Yeah, it adds heat. But flavor to boot. These are going to be ridiculous. Okay, so that's it. We can let this cool down while we make our dough circles. Back over to the marble. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, here's 1/2 of my dough. I floured the marble a little. It's nice and soft, moist, and it's going to be nice and flaky. I'm going to roll it out. I don't know what, 1/4 of an inch thick maybe. Again, I've never done these. I'm thinking about the ones I've purchased and enjoyed the hell out of. Thinking about maybe how thick that dough was. It's probably going to flake up a little because of the butter and shortening. So you can probably go thinner than you think. All right, that seems pretty good. So now we're going to cut them out. I found this bowl. I was thinking about, you know, what size the final patty should be. And this seemed about right when you fold it over. I need something to get it out though. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'll make a bunch of circles. And then we'll see you back here and we'll fill them up. Well, well. The moment of truth has arrived. Here we go. I got my trusty sheet pan with a parchment on it. Put just a little bit of flour on there. And we'll set that aside. Take one of our little circles here. And they're nice and thin, but now that they're circles, I think I can roll them out a little bit more. Take some of our filling here. Put it right in the center. Gonna be generous. I got a lot of dough, but that's okay. I like them when they're kind of packed. Now I've got a little egg wash here. It's just egg white with a little bit of water. And I'll go around the edge here. Take my circle, just like our calzone that we did last week. Now I'm going to do two different styles just to have fun. Press the meat down a little. There's one where I'm going to use the fork like I did for the calzone. But this one, I'm just going to pinch and kind of curl them under. Right? I've seen both when you order them. It's just stylistic preference. The main thing is you want to make sure it's sealed shut. No cracks for liquid filling to come sneaking out on you while they're baking. Watch those corners. So watch this if I flip it now. Now I'm going to kind of tweak these right down into itself. So it's a closed system. Damn if that don't look like a Jamaican beef patty to me. What do you think? All right, so onto the board. I'll finish them up. I've got the oven cranking to 375 and we'll pop them in. I wound up with 9 patties. So the way I understand it, if you want to freeze, you freeze pre-bake, okay? So I think what I'll do is I will bake these 4 and wrap these 5 in freezing. 4 will be gone, I was going to say by the end of the weekend. It's Thursday. They'll be gone on Friday night, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap these individually. Put them in the freezer, and by the time I get these 5 wrapped, the oven should be at 375 and ready to receive the 4 on the sheet tray. So, and my stove, my oven is a mess from this, among other things, so I will just pop them in off camera and we'll show you. From here, we'll go straight to the final result. And besides, I like having the camera off because with this, you know that reggae be cranking. And yes, spliffage. So we'll see you back here for the final taste. Whoa, you know what that means. There is absolutely no way for me to describe what this kitchen smells like right now. Woo, turmeric. Habanero. Here's the problem though, we have an issue. I have to let those cool down before I can eat them. Torture. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna head inside, I'm gonna crank up Tosh, hit that spliff. If you got something to burn, join me, and then we'll meet back here. And by Tosh, I don't mean Daniel. It's torture, I'm waiting. But I'll see you in a few. I just couldn't wait any longer. I mean, I let them cool down a few seconds. I can't wait. Of course, I should have a more island-friendly hot sauce. All I have in the house right now is Texas Pete. Oh, the steam is coming out. Let me give one of these a bite. Heaven. The Jamaican beef patty. I can't even remember the first time I had one. Like I can remember that tuna melted flows. I don't know when I've probably in Orlando, Florida somewhere. But some things just stay with you. It's one of my favorite snacks in the entire universe. And I just made 9 of them. 5 are in the freezer, unbaked. I baked 4 of them. I don't know, I might have another one tonight, you never know. But I'm bringing one for lunch tomorrow. These things are unbelievable. It's a little work involved, but I suggest giving it a shot. Thanks for hanging. We'll see you for the next episode. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
The pastry, man, so light, flaky. It's the butter shortening combo, man. Only way to go. Damn. Something I may never buy again. Just make batches, pile them in the freezer. You're good to go.